The door in the trees had never been there before, at least, that's what Aiden told himself as he walked deeper into the forest, kicking aside the soft carpet of fallen leaves. The late afternoon sun filtered through the branches in trembling slants of gold, painting shifting patterns across the forest floor. Every sound felt sharper than usual, the crunch under his shoes, the distant chirp of a bird, even his own steady breathing. Maybe it was the quiet that made him notice things he usually didn't. Or maybe the forest had decided to show him something new today. He paused when he saw it, a shape that didn't belong. At first, he thought it was just a shadow, a trick of the light twisting between the trunks. But as he stepped closer, the outline sharpened. A wooden door stood wedged between two enormous oaks, as though the trees had grown around it, framing it like they wanted to keep it safe. The wood looked old, far older than anything he had ever seen, the grain darkened with time and covered in spiraling carvings that almost seemed to breathe with the breeze. Aiden's heart thudded in his chest. He scanned the clearing, half expecting someone to jump out and yell, "Got you!" But the forest remained still. Even the birds had gone quiet, as though waiting. He approached the door, drawn to it despite the nervous flutter building in his stomach. His fingertips traced the carved swirls. They were warm, strangely warm, like the wood had been sitting in sunlight, though this part of the forest hadn't seen direct sun in years. He pulled his hand back, startled. "What are you?" he whispered. The door didn't answer, but a faint sound drifted from behind it, a soft hum, low and constant, like distant music or machinery. The handle, a silver crescent curved like a moon sliver, gleamed faintly even in the shadows. Aiden hesitated only a second before wrapping his hand around it. The metal tingled, sending a tiny spark up his arm. He almost let go, almost turned around and ran back home. But curiosity held him there. Something in the air felt charged, as if opening the door would change everything, as if the forest itself was holding its breath. The handle turned easily, without even a squeak. Aiden pulled. The moment the door cracked open, a burst of cool air washed over him, carrying a scent he couldn't name, something clean, sharp, and alive, like rain mixed with electricity. The hum grew louder, clearer. Light spilled out, not bright white or warm yellow, but a strange shimmering blue that seemed to move on its own. The world behind the door was not the forest. It wasn't anything like the forest. Aiden's breath hitched. Beyond the threshold stretched a vast expanse of glowing mist, swirling like slow-moving clouds. Floating shapes drifted lazily inside it, shadows of structures, or maybe creatures, he couldn't tell. The ground, if it was ground, shimmered like glass disturbed by ripples. Everything looked unreal, like a dream made solid. He stepped back, unsure. But something called to him from inside, tugging gently, like invisible fingers urging him closer. He didn't understand why, but the pull was strong, familiar even, as though this place recognized him. For a long moment, he stood frozen, his hand gripping the edge of the door. Then a sound drifted out, soft, melodic, almost like someone whispering his name from far away. Aiden. His heart slammed against his ribs. He glanced around again, but the forest stayed still, peaceful, unaware of the impossible doorway carved into its bones. The whisper came again, clearer this time. "Aiden." He swallowed hard. "Who's there?" His voice wavered, swallowed immediately by the mist inside. The reply wasn't words, but a pulse of light, a gentle rhythm glowing from deep within the strange world. It felt like an answer. It felt like recognition. Aiden tightened his grip. The forest suddenly felt too small, too ordinary, as though he had stepped out of childhood and into something far larger without even noticing. A part of him, the bold part, the curious part, the part that always wondered what else might be out there, leaned forward. Just one step, he thought. Just to see. He moved one foot toward the threshold, but the moment his shoe touched the shimmering ground, a tiny shock ran through him, not painful, but awakening, like suddenly understanding a word you'd heard your whole life. The mist stirred around him, responding. He gasped and jerked backward, stumbling into the leaves. The door shuddered, the blue light flickering. The hum rose sharply, then began to fade. "Wait." Aiden reached out instinctively. But the door swung shut with a soft thud, the carvings glowing faintly before going still. The silver crescent handle dimmed. The warm wood cooled beneath his hand. He pushed. It didn't budge. The hum was gone. The mist was gone. The strange world, and whoever had whispered his name, vanished with the closing of the door. Aiden stared at it, breath shaking, unable to decide if he was terrified, disappointed, or desperate to try again. The only thing he knew for sure was this: the door had not been there before today. But it would be here tomorrow. And he would come back.